laying charges against the poor does not work, which seems kind of obvious. But anyway, I'm looking at reading from one of the Toronto newspapers, August the 9th, and the headline says 15,500 charges were laid against panhandlers, beggars, by Toronto cops in 2010, but it's not getting them off the streets. So I just wanted to make a couple of common sense points, and further in the article, this officer was quoted in saying, like everything else, when it comes to enforcement, the police need to exercise discretion. We need to make sure there aren't alternative ways to deal with it before we lay a charge. He goes on to say they don't have the means to pay the fine in many cases. Well, it's interesting that he's saying we need to look at alternative ways to deal with this. But in fact, they're not looking at alternative ways to deal with it when they make a charge, because the vast majority of people in Toronto who are panhandling, who are begging on the street, do not have the mental capabilities to function in normal society. So they're not able to, because of mental illness. I know one gentleman who's extremely deformed, and he has a liver disease, makes his skin seem very strange. He's not able to get around well, and I believe many people wouldn't hire him because of the way he looks. So because of these various reasons, perhaps drug addiction, they're not capable of getting a regular job, getting an apartment, and paying their bills. So common sense would say, well, handing them a ticket and degrading them further is not obviously going to solve the problem. No, they don't have the means to pay it. I guess some of them pay the fine, but they find that they're back on the street trying to get some money in any way they can. So what would be some common sense ways to support these people? Perhaps instead of using the money to pay for the police officer's time and the cost of the ticket, the cost of this ticket then being processed through the system, could be used for building housing. I was going to say affordable housing, but perhaps housing that is provided, and some practical services to help these people with their basic needs, which would be a place to sleep, especially in Toronto in the winter. It's a long, cold winter. So a place to sleep that's safe, food for a day, a place where they can clean themselves. So these are very common sense. And I wanted to mention this article because it seemed very absurd to me. It seemed like a ridiculous waste of time and effort. So I am taking the Desteni I Process course now, and in that course we investigate practical solutions in order to make effective, lasting changes in a society that would be best for all. We focus on looking at what we are as a mind. We operate through our minds, and through the mind is extremely limited. Through the limitation, we exist as the limitation of the mind, through our thoughts, feelings, emotions, our beliefs, our ideas. And at Desteni, we bring ourselves back to the physical to deal with current physical reality and make common sense changes. One of the main goals would be to implement an equal money system, so that all are taken care of and all are considered equally. It is my personal hope that someday in the future, perhaps the younger people my grandchildren, I hope, would be aghast at the idea that there were very, very, very wealthy people, and then there were people with nothing. I hope they go, wow, that's crazy. How could anyone even consider that that was a compassionate, we as human beings like to believe and say often how compassionate and beautiful and wonderful we are. So I hope that this in the future will be considered unthinkable. Thank you. So please investigate DesteniIProcess.com. Thank you.